still joining us via phone, Mitu Akinsaya, our legal practitioner all the way from Oka. Thank you so much for, still joining back on the show, Mitu.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Lilian, for having me. Good morning, Hauwa.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
We're talking about the legal framework. What are those legal framework that are in place that Nigerians need to know about when it comes to, curbing fraudulent activities like this Ponzi scheme and others that have exploited Nigerians? How functional are they?
Okay, so as we speak now, there are already established legal framework that regulates what we call digital asset companies, virtual asset companies, cryptocurrency entities in Nigeria. In fact, sometimes in 2023, the Central Bank of Nigeria issued a guideline for banks to operate accounts for virtual asset service providers. And the Security and Exchange Commission has also issued guidelines on registering digital asset companies, virtual asset companies in Nigeria. In fact, luckily, just last month, the President assented to a new bill, the Investment and Securities Act, that now empowers fully the Security and Exchange Commission to pass to regulate virtual asset companies across Nigeria. And what that means is that as we speak now, we have a very good regulatory framework to regulate virtual asset companies in Nigeria. I also know very well that for several years now, the Security and Exchange Commission has consistently warned Nigerians not to interact with any digital asset entity or company that is not licensed to operate in Nigeria. I also note that the Central Bank of Nigeria has also consistently informed Nigerians to ensure that when they interact with all of these digital asset companies, that they interact with them with Naira. So there are a much regulatory framework in Nigeria. We know that there is a lot that needs to be done, but the entities or the agencies of government are doing their bit. And so anybody who interacts with any entity that is not licensed and regulated in Nigeria, does so at its own peril, or at its own, or at its or our own risk.
All right, thank you very much there for that. So at this point, you're saying that anybody who goes ahead to interact with them does it at their own peril. Does it mean that there's no legal recourse for these people to get their money back?
Yes, people can explore any legal mechanism that is available to them. But you see, if those who have lost their money, if they are able to trace those who are behind those Ponzi schemes, yes, they can proceed against them. The government, in fact, if you look at the Security and the Investment and Securities Act that the President has sent to last month, it now provides a very punitive punishment for those who are engaged in this Ponzi scheme. But the question is, how do you unravel those who are behind some of these schemes? It becomes very, very difficult. Government agencies cannot do it alone, except if they have verifiable information from citizens. And I can tell you that most of those citizens who have now lost their money into these schemes do not even know the persons behind all of these schemes. If you look at the website of CBEX, looking at the website alone, it tells you that there is a lot that is wrong with that entity. The entity, for instance, carries the name China, right? But apparently it has nothing to do with the Chinese government. Yeah. It also says that its headquarters is somewhere in Delaware, in the United States of America. And everybody who checks, of course, will even see that he's not even licensed to even operate in the United States of America. So some of these very sensitive information are just enough to tell everybody who wants to interact with those companies or those entities that they're just out there to defraud people. And you see, it's not even impossible that those who operate that platform are even just behind our backyard here. There may be people who stay somewhere within the country and they just operate those platforms to defraud people. So what becomes important that Nigerians must know is that yes, our legal framework recognizes natural assets trading, but it must be done within the legal framework. And it's only when we interact with those entities that are regulated by agencies of government in Nigeria that allow them to carry out digital assets trading, but we can just take such an action when there are issues. And you see, one very good example that we can tell time to is our banking ecosystem as we have this today in Nigeria. If you walk into any bank and you're keeping your money in that bank, you want to be sure that that bank is fully licensed by the CBN to carry out operations. Nobody goes into any bank to keep his or her money when such bank is not licensed or regulated by the Central Bank of Nigeria.
All right, thank you very much, Barrister Muti, for this, and thank you for throwing light on the legal aspect of this. We're going to have to let you go, so we'll talk to Japhet Johnson, who is going to throw the technical aspect of it and educate us on, the technical part and the tech things Nigerians should have looked out for before investing in CBEX. But thank you for joining us, Barrister. We do appreciate your presence.
Thank you. Always my pleasure to be trusted.
All right, you heard what he said. I like the fact that he made it clear that these regulations are in place. And then the SEC came out to say that anybody that is interacting with these people who don't have office in Nigeria or have no affiliation in Nigeria or do not trade in Naira, you are on your own. And it still boils down to, what I want to say is only going to be sweet in vernacular, but why don't people listen? Why wouldn't you listen to this information that has been put out there? It's simple. I know
it's not like you've not been warned beforehand for you to understand that, okay, this investment that you are doing without adequate information is very, very risky.
And the other part is why, they will say, no risk, no reward, no risk, no reward. Yeah, you've taken the risk, where's the reward? It's quite sad to see that people still fall victims. While we're having the chat with Akinsanya, there was a picture there showing the list of scams and Ponzi schemes that have ripped Nigeria, even in this 2024. And like you mentioned earlier, the EFCC released 58 lists of Ponzi schemes that are in Nigeria just last month, and people saw that these are Ponzi schemes. It means there's an attempt
to inform
people. For those that are calling out regulatory bodies, there's an attempt to do that. SEC came out to warn. There's an attempt to inform and educate people that Ponzi schemes are very much alive in Nigeria. Please hold your money to yourself and invest wisely. Avoid things that look too good to be true. Even the CBEX, the China, the one that's they're in China.
But my question is, why would you sink your money into something that you do not totally understand its process?
Welcome to Nigeria.
That in itself should make you ask questions on the investment that you're making. All right, we have Mr. Japhet Johnson on the phone, and first off, Mr. Japhet, you're highly welcome. Thank you for being here, and he's going to shed light on the technical aspect of these schemes. So, Mr. Japhet, the biggest question I would ask is, how do they lure people into making investments into these Ponzi schemes?
Alright, so thank you very much for having me once more here. I'm trying to get the situation very close to the next fine. I think based on business and how Nigeria should look at investment, we have spoken about the law when it comes to investment and business that we need. Nigeria needs to learn, it has looked like it's more of a foundational issue because a lot of companies come in Nigeria and prey on the situation of our people, the way the economy is, and it has gone more beyond just preaching Nigeria to things like that. I think high time government actually takes a proactive measure into this. And begin to actually work with other private companies to know which of these platforms are actually. So the truth of the matter is, one of the Matthew will talk a lot about how government will work with private entities or private side. But I think we can do more. Coming from a blockchain background, someone that built on blockchain, I understand how you can actually do a lot of tests and you can actually use some of these guys, right? You can actually do smart contract or some and use as a blockchain network, so that is either Tron or USDT or whatever. So you can actually do a test on them on smart contracts. Some of them are not that too smart because they might have interacted with some of these centralized exchanges. You can actually do it and talk to these that actually have a click on them. But I feel the ESPC is definitely to do more when it comes to being proactive here because this issue has been legal for too long, right? Since 2016, as now MNM. So I think Nigeria does more than 6 billion naira into MNM. We are seeing Raspberry, we are seeing TS now. And just to 2024, Nigeria has lost over 300 billion naira, which is an alarming number that I feel we're not saying these people that are doing this are not actually illiterate, right? These are people that have actually gone to school. So what is really happening? Is it because of the high level of unemployment in Nigeria? Is it because of the inflation? We have been preaching a lot about this, right? So I think it's high time that the government work with agencies that will begin to see how these platforms get shut down even before they get their next 50 or 100 users. It's not about until we wait to experience the crash. No, I think we have done more of the preaching for Nigerians to make their research, follow credible investment businesses, but it's not really working. So I think the government, we need to start approaching the whole issue from the top to bottom, not from bottom to top. So the government needs to step in, work with EFCC, work with SEC, work with some investigation. We have A&D forensics and others. Work with investigators. So the moment they flag this platform, it doesn't matter if they have 5 users, 10 users, we can block them. Like they are IP blockers or hijackers that you can block them. NCC can help with that. A lot of networks can block, just like the way a lot of Nigerians can't access Binance until you use some other software. These are the ways we should be able to actually curtail the number of people that actually have access to these platforms. The truth of the matter is these guys are using technology and they are making it very easy for an average Nigerian that doesn't even understand what cryptocurrency is to be able to onboard. But we should ask ourselves the question, how long are we going to keep putting all the blame to say, oh, we have been warning people, we have been... no, I think we just need to take a proactive measure. A company that is not licensed should be blocked entirely. So there is no even so much of taking time. I think that's just what I felt to say because we have preached so much. We have a lot of educators come on Trust TV to caution Nigerians. We have seen several TV stations doing the same thing. We have seen individuals, organizations preaching against scams. But this thing keeps repeating itself since 2016 to this point. Come on. And look at the funny part. The interesting age range of people falling for this victim are from 25, 30 downward. These are the people that actually, in quote, are graduates, in quote, are actually working, in quote, possibly understand some of this technology or how scams work. But because of the greed, they keep doing it over and over again. So it's not about we keep teaching, you need to know which company to invest in. No, you don't need to be swayed into 100% profit. No, I think the government needs to just come in,
start shutting down these companies instantly without actually, as long as you're not licensed, there's no need for you to actually have a space for our people to actually register and do. They should not even have access to this. That's the same thing China is doing. A lot of the companies that are seen operating in Nigeria cannot be visible in China. That is why they have their own products here, because why they have very strong control. Yes, I know a lot of clamor will come, no, there's no freedom of the internet, blah blah, Nigeria is trying to know. But this is, we're talking about money here, we're talking about securing the finances. I listened to what somebody was saying that CBEX have ruined their life.
Thank you so much.
So I believe if he never had access to that platform, if he tried browsing it and he could not access, I think that would have discouraged him even before him actually taking it. So that is the approach I feel we should start taking now. Enough of just shouting to say Nigeria should go and learn. Let's take this approach.
Thank you so much.
Start shutting down this website even before they get to their 100 or 50 users. I think that's just the best way our advice.
All right, Japheth, thank you so much for that. One quick question before we go, Japheth. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Japheth? All right, one quick question before you go, very quick. As a blockchain expert, did you hear about CBEX before it started, and did you take a look at it? What red flag did you notice in it that an average Nigerian couldn't have seen? All right, it seems our network has dealt with us, but we would have loved to hear that part from him to know if there was any red flag in it that would have raised Nigerians' attention. But thank you so much, Japheth, for joining us and sharing your thoughts on that this morning. Well, I believe we've covered the bit we can on this, and we hope that would bring more information to the limelight when we can on this issue, and also find time to always inform Nigerians. And to you as our listeners, find time to always read up and keep yourself informed. Join trusted news station, find papers, educate yourself so you won't fall prey to such again. Well, we'll be going on a quick break. When we get back, it will be time for our newspaper review this day.